win some, you might get lucky now and then. Yeah, you win some, I'm just a thief, stealing time in the border river. We will remember that. I think Get Lucky may have been the first thing, and it just seemed like a good album title. I suppose these days we all need to get a bit lucky. The Get Lucky character is a character that I'm sure I could have easily ended up being if it hadn't been for music. And sometimes I think there, but for the grace of the music, you know, it could have been a very different story. I was always fascinated by the lack of responsibility that some people seem to feel about their lives, that they had this ability just to be free, to reject the corporate rules that seem to apply to so many other people. Pack up my traveling things. The actual album itself is not about gambling per se at all, although life is a bit of a gamble, and Get Lucky is certainly, you know, about the chance element. And there is a song on there called You Can't Beat the House. We take a turn in life and we don't know why something should happen necessarily, and that's I'm forever musing about that and wondering why that should have been. But when somebody says to me, you know, you're so lucky, you've got da 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 da, I always feel very tempted to say luck has nothing to do with it. I wake up every morning. I think I've learned to respect what little bit of talent I've got now, and respect it a bit more, so I address it a bit more than I used to. Just keep having a look at the songs and keep getting behind the plough, showing up. I enjoy the whole mystery of songs, of finding out what it is that they have to say, what they want to be, you know, and you've got to let them. You try not to force it, trying to find out what it is that it wants, what it needs, because the song comes first. The songs seem to want to have come in their own time and happen themselves, but nothing will come of nothing. So I have to get behind the instrument and play a little bit, and I have to be there for things to happen. But as it is, I've got too many songs to record, so there is a downside to all this writing, and which is as well, and that is that anybody who's successful, there is a danger that you're not editing yourself as well as you might, and I think that you just have to be aware of that. I just try to be aware of that, and occasionally try to write a song which is so short it almost disappears. You know, I think you have to be conscious of the need to shut up and make it shorter. Think I'll just lay me down. To me, the real thing is the roots music. It doesn't really make any difference whether it's folk music or blues or what it is. I just try to absorb the spirit of whatever it is that I'm attracted to, and absorb some of it, squeeze a sponge, and something else will come out at the other end. And that's what, it seems to me, that's what creative people do. Yeah, well, they always said I was easily distracted. I think that's still true. But you wouldn't be a writer if it wasn't the case. You have to have your attention taken up by things. There's always a bit of you that's like that, that's an observer. I was very conscious when the Dire Straits became really successful very, very quickly. And I became conscious of the fact that the songs that we were recording were often observations, and I was conscious of the fact that the preciousness, or the value, if you like, of the anonymity that the observer has, and that some of that was lost when you became well known. and that there was a certain price involved in all of this. So I still think privacy is a real treasure, that something that has to be valued by people, and personal liberty and personal privacy is a very important part of life. When I was a teenager, I'd be going up and down the country a lot, and back then hitchhiking was much more popular, and it was something I used to do, and I used to even do it with a guitar and a bag. It's amazing now thinking of jumping up into trucks with a heavy guitar case and all of that, and a bag as well, but that's what I used to do.
Southern bound from Glasgow town, she's shining in the sun.
Every time I'd go over across the River Tyne, you'd see the bridges and you'd see everything, and that was always a big moment. Coming in or leaving. For Geordies, that just is. I put that in that song Southbound again on the first Dire Straits album. There's just a feeling of that, it seemed to me, in a little bit of that in Get Lucky, but also there's a song on there called Border Reaver, which is about a lorry driver's life in the 60s, late 60s, early 70s, that kind of time.
Cold in winter, but she cooks me in the heat. I'm a 6-foot driver.
I remember seeing the first guitars and being really fascinated by them, and for some reason, and also they just seemed to say freedom. It was just a different thing from a grand piano in a drawing room, which seemed such a heavy-weighted thing. The guitar seemed to be as light as air and flexible, and you could take it anywhere and strum it and enjoy yourself with it. It always seemed to me to be something I associated as well with happiness. It wasn't something that was clouded in melancholy or in anything like that, and didn't have the solemnity that